Good night, good night. How you guys doing tonight? What's going on? All right, guys, all right. This is late night. And because it's late night, let's have a constructive conversation. Yeah, let's have a constructive conversation. All right, because what we notice going on now, we notice a lot of change is happening. And because a lot of change is happening, what is our plan? What is our motive? How are we going to manage? It only takes certain disaster, and by the snap of a finger, everything can change. All it takes is a disaster, and by the snap of a finger, everything changes. It's pays to be humble. It's pays to be humble because by the snap of a finger, you could lose everything that you work all year for, or all your life for, all the savings that you put up, years of saving, and one disaster, you could lose everything and start from square one again. So it's best to be humble, have an open mind of achieving more, be conscious of what you're doing, pay attention, learn to save a few dollars from time to time. Yes, sometimes it's very difficult to save, very difficult to save because of situation. So much things you got to do, so much bills you got to pay. So it's hard for you to save. But sometimes you have to figure out what you can do without, what you don't need. Don't focus on what you want. Focus on what you need. All right? Focus on what you need. Because sometimes we get distracted and caught up in looking at things that's not necessary or we don't need it at the time. Sometimes there's sales going on. There's sales going on. And you have your little money in your account. And because you see sale, 40% off, 30% off, you enter into your saving and you gone to that sale and you go in and buy something that you didn't need. Sometimes you buy it and you just put it in your closet and it's right there. Sometimes you in wear it for months. It's right there. Sometimes you never get to wear it. So to me, that is like spinning a top in mud sometimes. It's best you take that little money, as small as it might be, and try to invest in something that can always bring back something for you. We got to be more smart and more wise these days and try to save and accomplish things. Because what happens is we getting distracted by far. the commercials, the sales, 50% off, 30% off, and all it do, it distract you from your focus. Your focus is to save and accomplish. What about save something every year towards a piece of land or property? You got to be focused. You got to be patient. You cannot be distracted when you are on your verge of achieving. Because when you're trying to achieve, there's always distraction. There's always things just appearing to take you from your journey. So you got to be focused. You got to pay attention to what is actually going on. Many times, people have funds sitting on. They might have a few $100 sitting on. This is why it's so good to invest. Invest in something that you could get back something from it. Because many times you have a few $100 or a few $1,000 sitting on, and you decide you're going to save this money. And many times, this is why I know money is for invest. It's supposed to invest it. Many times, something always occur to take that money. You might have a vehicle, and that's the time the vehicle gonna break down. When you have a little portion of money trying to save, something happened to the vehicle, and you got to dip right in to that money to fix that vehicle. And the vehicle was doing fine. But until you get that money and decide, I'm going to save it, here comes the disaster. And the disaster after disaster. And then when you check, you you back to square one again. So with me, I think it's more wise to be back to square one, knowing that you invest in something and looking forward to it, than to end up back at square one and have nothing to look forward to. So to me, investment means a lot. You cannot get distracted because you will lose out. You got to pay attention, you got to focus on the things that's important to you. A roof over your head is very important. Don't play with that. Don't play around when come on a roof over your head. Don't play around. I have a blueprint. There's a blueprint. There's a blueprint of how you can become a real estate investor, owning property without owing the bank and starting from square one. The only thing is not going to take overnight. It's going to take a time. But at the end of the day, you know you in owing the bank and you in owing no financial company. All you got to do, maintain the property and make sure you pay your tax at the end of the year. All right, we're going to do a topic on that, but not tonight. That's a whole different conversation. Whole different conversation by itself. But I just want to say, in order for us to achieve and grow, we have to be humble, be focused and pay attention. Focus on the things we're trying to accomplish, and those are necessary to get there. Meaning, you have to start saving, you have to start investing. Even though you might have a job and the job is beautiful, the job is nice, the job have benefit, the job have retirement. One thing I want you to remember, sometimes when you reach to that retirement age, when you reach to that retirement age, you might have mortgage still to pay, you have utilities still to pay, you still got to eat, you still got to survive. Now you need an income to maintain that. Maybe the money from your retirement mightn't able to maintain that. It mightn't be enough because you might have mortgage, you have all everything you still got to take care of. And by you only depending on your retirement without investment, that could be a problem for you. So I think it's wise to invest even though you have a retirement plan. Hey, oh, you living life, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just up, relaxing, having a little conversation, you know. How you doing tonight? What's going on? Yeah, so I really do believe, even though you have the retirement plan in place where when you retire, you're gonna be getting money from your job. That's wonderful. But you gotta remember, when you get old and retire, you can't do too much. You can't do two jobs and three jobs like when you're young. You might be able to make it to do one job. So you're depending on this retirement fund. But sometimes the retirement fund ain't enough. I'm going to get all right. Good night. Good night. Good night. You have a wonderful night. Okay. Yes. I'm just gonna be here for a little, not too long. I just wanna do and then just post it out. Yes. So sometimes the retirement fund is not enough for you to live from, survive. Okay. All right. All right. Yes. The retirement is not enough for you to survive because, like I said, you might have your car, you got to buy gas, you got to buy food, you might have a mortgage, whatever, you still got to live. Doesn't matter because you're old now, you still got to live. So, if you don't have a retirement fund, if you have the retirement fund with no investment to back the retirement fund, you could get yourself into problem. How you can get yourself into problem? You got to eat, you got to pay your bills, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay your tax. Even though you already paid off for your property, you still have a tax. You still have the tax payment you got to make every year. And that could be, it might sound like every year, but that could be costly, especially for an older person who not able to go outside and work and make and do other jobs to maintain. So they got to depend on their retirement fund. And the retirement fund is not enough. Lots of people lose their property because of not getting enough money to pay their tax, even though they already paid a mortgage for the property. They come and lose the property because they wasn't paying the tax. So it's important, even though you have a good job, even though you have a good job, you should have an investment to back that job. The next thing again, even though you have a good job that paying you well, you don't know for sure that this job gonna take you until you retire. Sometimes they only hold you until when they ready to replace you, they replace you. So then what you gonna do after that? You see what I'm saying? When if they replace you, remember you still have your bills to pay, you still have your mortgage or whatever, rent, whatever you got to do. You still have that to take care of. So sometimes we cannot just depend on our job. Depending on a job could make you lose everything. All you have to do is lose that job. And in a snap of a finger, you lose everything you have. So I believe my thing is, instead of just depending on this job, try to invest in something. Have an investment. Invest in something. There's sometimes you want to invest in something and you don't know what to invest into. Sometimes you could ask question. Right now, the internet is full of question. You could ask question. You could also invest into land. You could invest in a piece of land. Land don't rotten, and the value of land can go up. You can buy a piece of land today for 5,000, and in 5, 10 years, it could become 100,000, or it could become 50,000, or it could become 30,000. But guess what? It went up. It went up. So if push come to shove, you have a backup plan that you can turn to. If push come to shove, you cannot depend on these jobs to maintain your livelihood, because you could lose it by a snap of a finger. You go into work, all you got to do, one simple problem could turn into you losing your job. And after that, you have problem. It might take time for you to gain another job. You still have mortgage to pay, or you could have rent. It ain't got to be mortgage, it can be rent. So you can lose your property, or you could lose your apartment or your house that you're renting by the snap of a finger. So this is why we focus on being humble. Be humble, try to achieve, try to accomplish. If you're making some funds and you could save a few dollars, save till you reach a certain amount, take it and invest it. Sometimes sitting on the money, sometimes something come and happen and take all the money. Your car might have a problem, take all your saving that you had. If you will invest, you have something to look forward to. So investing is a good thing. Whatever you decide to invest, but I'm going to tell you this. When you invest into something, do your research on it. Because even on the internet, people give you a lot of misinformation. A lot of people go on Google and get information. They didn't actually went out and do the work to find out the information and see how it worked for themselves. They actually Google and put a package together and present it. But when you're doing the footwork, you understand the process, the whole process, and you know what you invest into. I personally believe in invest into things and grow, invest and grow, meaning you start small and grow. Because sometimes the problem is we start out big, and sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we slip because the weight is too heavy. So sometimes we slip and fall. Your foundation is very important. You're supposed to set a solid foundation in whatever you're doing. Don't rush into anything that you're doing. Make sure the foundation is solid. So once the foundation is solid, you start building from that solid foundation. So starting small and build in a few years and grow into something is one of the best thing you can do. Okay, but everybody is different, so everybody gonna take different approach towards success. Some people gonna look at it as, man, it's gonna take me too long. So some people gonna go and take a big bite. But sometimes that big bite comes with a lot of situation, because now it comes with a lot of maintenance. It comes with a lot of payments. So now you got to be doing one and two jobs to maintain what you trying to do or accomplish. But if you start from scratch and grow and build, less problem for you, less pain. Because you ain't trying to bite more than you could chew. You just bite in as much as you can chew, and then you grow and become, over the years, it becomes something. So, is the approach you want to take. I'm not saying don't take the big bite. That's not what I'm saying. But just remember the big bite comes with a lot more situation, which another approach. There's other approach that you could take, and even though you run into situation, you okay, because the way you do it, you see, the way you do it, you okay. So let's just do it. Just see this for a moment. Like for instance, you wanna buy a piece of land, right? You have the finance to buy 1 acre, right? You could buy that 1 acre cash, right? You have the cash to buy that 1 acre. But okay, there's another lot with 5 acres or 10 acres. But no, you ain't have enough finance to pay for that 5 acres or how much, 10 acres. So now you look into a financial, you're looking for you're looking for cash, you're looking for a place, the bank, where you could actually borrow some money. You see what I'm saying? No, you borrow that money. What you got to do now, you got to find yourself making payments every month for this piece of property. And if you ain't able to make the payment, you could lose the property, right? You see, so you see what I'm talking about biting big and starting from scratch? No. Let's go to the one you could pay cash. No, if you go and you buy the piece that you could pay cash, no, this is yours. All you got to make sure that you pay that tax every year. And land tax is not that expensive. When it have a house on top of it, that's when it's expensive. Because you got to pay for school, you got to pay for fire, you got to pay for all these things. But the land itself, the tax is is cheaper. But anyhow, if you focus on buying the one you could afford, no, if you lose your job, that's still yours. You see what I'm saying? You still have time to wait to make that payment at the end of the year for the tax. But for instance, you decide to go with the one where you have to borrow the money to pay for it. No, you have finance. You have to basically you finance the property, the land. No, you got to make sure you have that money to make the payment, or you could lose the property. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But my thing is sometimes we have to start small and grow. Be humble, grow, and become something. Because I believe sometimes starting small takes a lot of stress away. It takes a lot of stress. Sometimes people can't sleep because the problem is they might lose their job. And because they lose their job, they can't sleep at night because they already know, my goodness, I got mortgage to pay. If I can't pay this mortgage, then you homeless. And it's easy to become homeless. That's why I'm saying be humble. Focus on the things you need and not the things you want. Not everything you see on sale mean you got to get it. If you don't need it, leave it. You're gonna get it the next time. Because if sometimes people love shopping, they love sale, and all they do, they buy these things and just store them, and they just dare not use it. Listen me, invest in something that can bring back to you than just invest in something, things that just take. If you have pots in your home, you have pots you're cooking into. But when you look, there's a store have 50% off on pots. You don't need that pot set. You see, you don't need it. You want it. No, guess what you do? Oh, let me go and get this pot set. I see it for 50%. Let me go and get this pot set. You could keep that money and invest into something. You have your television. Your television working pretty good. But you saw one for 50% off or 25% off, and you want it. You don't need it. You want it. Guess what? You gone, you now buy a pot set. No, you go in and buy a TV, and it's go. This is always go on and on and on. And then when we catch ourselves, we full with materials things and nothing that can we can look forward to bring back to us. So my thing is invest into things that can bring back for you. Invest into things that can help you when you reach retirement. When you reach retirement, you in need because you cannot get up every day and go out there and work. Some people get sick. What if you get sick and you can't walk? You have to have something to fall back on. So invest in things that matter to you and that can always bring back to you. If you get old, you have a property, you have your house, you have a piece of land. Nobody helping you. You need help to maintain. You could sell that land. That's yours. You could sell that land and live off the finance to keep if you have to. I'm not saying you should, but if you have to, you got to pay your bills. You got to eat. So if you have to, but this is the good thing because you have something to look forward to maintain you until you move forward. All right. So, guys, I hope this message touched somebody because I just believe in, I've seen too much stuff that I think if we pay attention and look into our needs more than our wants, I believe things will be a lot easier for plenty of us. But, sometimes you have these energy inside you and it's hard to control because there's energy that make you addicted to shopping. A lot of people addicted to shopping, just like a lot of people addicted to alcohol and all these other things. There's people who addicted to shopping, and now it's more easier for them to spend because all they got to do is grab their phone and here we go. They ain't even got to go out the house. So right in the house, they could be there shopping like crazy. So we have to control ourselves, look into our needs more than our want. If you want something, you could do without it. You could get it the next time. You ain't got to get it now. You could get it the next time. If you need it, it's a whole different ball. It is something you need, then I say go for it. But if you want it, you don't need, you could do without it. So this is a new year, guy. Another year is moving. But what I'll say to you is not too late to start investing. It's not too late to start investing. Even if it's a small piece of land, even if it's a quarter acre, that's cool. If it's half acre, that's cool. A quarter acre, you could build a house on top of it. And the thing about it, you could buy a piece of land and then in a few years, the value of that land rise up because once the neighborhood start developing, the value of the land goes up as well. So land is something good to invest into, and sometimes, guys, it didn't take that much to own a piece of land. Yes, certain places, land is very, very expensive. Certain places, land is pretty expensive. So I understand. But you, as a person, got to look where you could afford. Let me tell you this. Plenty investors study that invest in properties, house. Where you think they go and buy these houses and fix them and rent them and whatever. Where you think they go? They go in the down neighborhood. The neighborhood them that down, buy the property them cheap, fix them. And while they fixing the properties, the value of the neighborhood start rising. You see? So they go in neighborhoods that down, not the neighborhood that's up. They go to the neighborhoods them that's down. So guess what? Now they could fix this property, buy out the houses in the neighborhood, fix them, rent them, or even sell them. So this is how you got to think as well as a business person. Because the thing is, you got to start from somewhere. They don't go where houses for $1 million or 500,000. No, they go in the neighborhoods that they could get them cheap and buy out the houses, them, fix them, and here we go. The value of the houses rise. No, the house they pay 20,000 for is 400,000. You see what I'm saying? That's how we got to look into stuff. Don't watch the neighborhood. Don't feel a neighborhood is too down for you to buy a piece of land or a house, maybe an abandoned house. Don't feel it's you shouldn't do that. Not at all. Because the investors, that's what they do. So if they're doing, why you can't do it? You see what I'm saying? Why you can't do it if they're doing it? If it wasn't beneficial to them, they would not go down there. They want to find somewhere else. But this is what they do. So you got to start think as investors and business people. And once you start to think like that, you're going to see things different. All right? So, yes, guys, thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. I hope this message touched somebody. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Peace, love, and blessing to you guys. Don't forget, check me out every Friday. Every Friday night, we're going to have Caribbean night where we're going to be talking about Caribbean culture. All right, so don't forget, check me every Friday night. All right, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace, love, and blessing to you guys. Enjoy the rest of the night. All right, good night.